Alright, so how's it going everybody? Hope you're all doing well, hope you're all doing great. And please, before we get into this video, if you liked it, press that like button, subscribe, that really helps me out a ton. We are on the road to 7,000 subscribers. It's been a year. Now today's gaming PC build was going to be a $700 gaming PC. I had some certain parts in mind, but then I kept playing around and I found this new deal on RTX 3050. And I think you can squeeze in an RTX 3050 gaming PC for around $750, $800 if you decided to spend a little bit more on other parts that can play games at 240 frames per second if it's FPS intensive, can play games at 1080p ultra settings. Basically, this is one of the best and my favorite budget pre-built gaming PCs that I've made. So if this video reached 1,000 likes, because I don't have money anymore, we will make this PC build. I'm pretty sure we can do that, maybe with a better CPU, but hey, before we waste any more time, let's get to the PC parts. So first up, the CPU. We're looking at the Intel Core i5-10400F. And I know some of you might be saying, hey, that's an old CPU, that's an LGA 1200 CPU socket type, you know, it's an i5, why are you doing that? First up, it's a 6-core 12-threaded CPU, so it kinda gets the job done. It's for $130. So it's pretty good when you compare it to something like a Ryzen 5600G. It's not that far in terms of performance. The 5600G is a $200, $220 CPU, but that's only because it's not a CPU, it's an APU, it's got an integrated GPU in it. So we're getting about the same performance, but for $100 less. This is one of the best on retail gaming CPUs you can get right now when it comes to the price for the performance. The only caveat is that the upgrade path isn't there. You can only go to an 11900 CPU, and the 11900 or the 11th gen CPUs are not the best from Intel. There is that big caveat, but hey, that's a budget PC. The i5-10400F will last you long for the next 3 to 4 years, no problem. As for the board, there isn't much to say here, but I'd recommend you to go for the cheapest board, you know, because basically there isn't any upgrade path and you don't need DDR5, there isn't PCIe Gen 4. LGA 1200 is old, but PCIe Gen 4 isn't that critical when it comes to the RTX 3050 performance difference, you know what I'm saying? So hey, going with anything cheap for $70, $60, if you can go with it, you'll not be missing out on anything, you know. You don't need a good board for overclocking, you just need a board that will house the parts. So yeah, there's that, and there isn't much to say here, to be honest. As for the RAM, we're looking at 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM. Some might say 16 gigs isn't enough anymore, but I have 16 gigs in my PC. I don't feel any difference. A lot of my games don't consume over 12 gigabytes. There are these games that will take over 16 gigs. But hey, it's the gold standard, it's for $50, something like that. And I think you shouldn't be looking for more for a budget PC. Now, as for the SSD, and this is where I think you should be looking for more, we're looking at 480GB SSD or 512GB SSD. If you decided to push this budget to around what, $800, you can go with a 1TB SSD. But if you went with the 512, this PC would be ranging around $760 to $750. So I'd leave that to you, it's your PC. I really would want to go with a 1TB SSD, or maybe a 240GB SSD and a 1TB hard drive, because I like space, to be honest. But I'll leave that to you. Now the juice, the GPU, and you know what it is, the RTX 3050. Now how are we getting the RTX 3050? That's a good question. At the time of recording this video, I don't know if this changed. The RTX 3050 is on a combo deal with an EVGA 750W BQ 80 plus certified power supply for $430. So hey, even though it's not the best thing you can do right now, but hey, it's actually a very good deal that you can take advantage of it if you are willing to. But hey, you're getting a power supply, you're getting a GPU that's pretty capable. It can play a lot of games. It can play any game at 1080p, ultra settings, medium to high if they are graphically demanding. And you can get 60 FPS, you can get 240 FPS. I think the 10400 and the RTX 3050 is a very good CPU and GPU combo, similar to the Ryzen 5 3600 and the GTX 1660 Super. They are pretty similar even in terms of performance to what it is. So hey, you cannot go wrong at all in my opinion. So that leaves us with the case. I would go with something cheap that would be for around $35, something like that, but again, I'd leave that to you. I'm really sorry if I'm out of focus, guys, but there is that really beautiful case, a pink case, if you want to stand out. I mean, come on, put your, what do you call it, what it is, toxic masculinity, something like that. Put your fragile masculinity aside and go with a pink case. Why not? Why not? But hey, I'd also leave that to you. You can also go to Q300L, is one of my favorite cases out there. And yeah, or you can go with a budget case for $35, and I'd go with that for the budget PC in my opinion. So hey, there's that guys. If you like the video, press the like button. If you want to see more videos of that, can subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace.